If your mom ever gives you a hard time about playing video games, tell her to check out this segment. Tommy Tallarico is the host of The Electric Playground and probably the most prolific composer of music for video games. And to say the industry's been good to him, well, that's an understatement.
Hi, I'm Tommy Tallarico, and this is the PlayStation Underground, and this is my house. Girl Scout cookies? No. Okay, well, come on in then. In here, we have the piano room. And lots of, well, there's one piano. And a lot of times when I'm composing, I actually sit here and just... My big screen TV with the PlayStation is in the other room. So I'll be playing the game with no sound. And then I'll run in here and try to figure out something on the piano, and then I'll run up 3 flights of stairs to go in my studio. So you always know when I'm composing music in my house because you hear these running up and down and going like crazy all the time. This area here is basically where I play all my games. Lately I've been playing Pirates. The cool thing about Pirates is the sound is in DTS and Dolby surround. Whoa. And in here is the Egyptian dining room, which everyone should have, right? No? I don't know, I kind of wanted to do a Tomb Raider theme. Now entering level 2. Hey, you caught me. Well, this is my bedroom, you know? And I gotta warn you, it's a jungle in here. Now, for all the people out there, this is not a real tiger. Everyone should have a 7-foot waterfall, I think, installed in your room. But the thing that's kind of bad about it is that at night, I always have to go to the bathroom. I'm a big collector of art, cells, and a lot of times I get to meet these guys, which is really cool. So, you know, like, for example, I'll get Chuck Jones, like, for Tommy from Chuck Jones. And in here, this is one of my favorite rooms in the house. This is my Spider-Man room, okay? So in here, you'll see all the coolest Spider-Man stuff. Look, life-size Spider-Man. Gotta have life-size Spider-Man. Spider-Man webbing compound. I actually have every single Spider-Man book ever created. Every one, from the beginning. There she is, Amazing Fantasy 15, the very first appearance ever of Spider-Man. Okay, now coming out here, I have an Elvis shrine here. You have to bow to the Elvis shrine. Bow, camera, to the Elvis shrine. There you go. These are all toys from video games. Check how cool this is. Look at this. And you're like, da-da-da-da-da-da, in the rain or in the snow, in the rain or in the snow. Okay. And then we have the arcade. We have the Tron machine. Of course, you have to have Tron in your arcade. And Rastan's another great one. And my favorite game of all time, straight from Japan, Master of Weapon. I think something got lost in the translation. This is one of my favorite machines. This is Baby Pac-Man. Baby Pac-Man was one of the first machines to have video and the pinball on one machine. My dad, the guy's psychotic.
Hey, what are you guys doing out there?
I can't get him to double-click a mouse, but he can play the heck out of Baby Pac-Man, and he whips my butt all the time. It's quite annoying. Okay, now I gotta take you up to the studio, because that's where all the work actually happens. Now entering level 3. Amazingly enough, these are about 90% of all of the video games I've ever worked on. There's over 200 games over the last 11 years. Any musician who has a really clean desk and a clean area, that means that they're probably not working. We have mixing console here. I have my keyboards and samplers hooked up to my computer, to the mixing board, to the digital recorder, into my keyboards. So it's this one big round circle of things, but it enables me, one guy, to do a whole orchestra if I wanted to.
Well, we hope you enjoyed Tommy's World. If you want to know a little more about him, check out our sit-down interview coming in a future issue of the PlayStation Underground. Some of the biggest names in anime teamed up to create a totally new experience called dothack. Part anime movie, part RPG, dothack is like nothing you've ever seen before. So exactly what is dothack? Well, that's a little complicated, but we'll do our best to explain.
It is on such a grand scale that it's hard to explain. It takes place in the near future, not much different from today. People from all over the world access the internet, but one day a weird virus pops up and internet activity is banned. But after a while, the ban is lifted. The World is the first game released after the removal of the ban. It is an online RPG, and it becomes extremely popular. In Japan, dothack is a multi-dimensional world depicted through a TV show, a manga comic book, an anime video series, and the video game. Although the time periods and the characters differ in each, the stories all revolve around the fictional game, The World.
Unfortunately, the manga comic and TV series will only be released in Japan, but the good news is the US version will feature the video game and the animated video packaged together. dothack exists on two different levels. The first is a game within a game called The World, a fictional multiplayer online dungeon RPG. The second is dothack's Real World, where you play as a kid named Kite who's introduced to the internet game by his buddy Yasuhiko. While the two are playing The World, a strange monster attacks the game characters. When you log off The World, you try to contact your friend only to discover that he's in a coma. You believe that the only way to help him is to continue playing The World and search for a cure.
Even if you can't see it. As long as you know it's there, it's the same thing as seeing it, right?
The online gameplay simulation is so realistic that you use email and message boards in dothack's Real World to get important clues for the game. Of course, that's in the game's real world, not in your real world. Confused yet?
Initially, you only play The World, but when you log off of that game, you see a futuristic computer desktop where you receive emails from different characters, such as Black Rose or Elk. Another interesting thing is that other game players actually argue on the message boards. So dothack has two layers: The World, which is an online RPG game, and the Real World, in which Kite and his friends live.
While playing The World, Kite meets a mysterious girl. She shows him how to access a power called the Twilight. Using this power, he's able to change the game around him, as well as potentially influence players in the real world. But the other players in the world don't take kindly to Kite's newfound abilities.
With his new power, Kite is able to do something called data draining, which is kind of like a computer virus. This skill is illegal in the game. Kite and the boss characters have the ability to attack others with their computer virus. For example, if a demon has 1,000 health points and Kite attacks him with the virus, he can manipulate his data and reduce his health points to 150. Also, Kite can create new areas in the game. Usually in other games, when you step outside of a castle, there are vast green fields that you cannot enter. However, in this game, once you step outside of the town, you can create new playable areas yourself by entering a combination of 3 words, such as hidden, forbidden, and sanctuary. The possible fields that you can create are almost infinite. You can learn what the keywords are from reading your email or looking at the bulletin boards in the dothack Real World.
Doctor, I was wondering about something. Can subliminal information cause somebody to lose, consciousness?
Another good source of hints to help you get through the game is the anime video. Though the characters are different in the video than in the game, it also contains information about the world, although it focuses more on dothack's real world.
The idea of making a video comes from the fact that you can't see other players while you play online. By showing the real world in the video and the internet world in the game, you can view the story from different angles. We thought we could build a more interesting universe by adding a video series to the PlayStation 2 game.
Hopefully you have a better understanding of just what dothack is about. A game this complicated is best played in stages, which is exactly how it'll be released. Expect the first chapter of dothack this October, but clear your calendar for the next year. 3 more episodes will follow close behind.
win.
Too bad you picked the wrong side.
This game is rated M for mature.